Few things in the world of video games are as fun as killing Nazis and shooting zombies. Zombie Army 4 Dead War does a damned fine job of combining the two. The 9-level campaign of the base game takes you across Europe as you look to finally end an undead Hitler with up to 3 friends by your side. There is a commitment and reverence for B-movie horror tropes throughout. And as the game is made by the developers of the Sniper Elite series, Rebellion Developments, the shooting is fantastic. Add in a horde mode, and it sounds like one hell of a package, especially now with Game Pass and Xbox Series console support. Let us see if it adds up to something that is worth your time. Originally released back in the beautiful COVID won't be that bad or last that long times of February 4th, 2020, Zombie Army 4 is a follow-up to a series I had heard about but never played. The original Zombie Army trilogy had been repackaged and released for the Xbox One and PS4 generations of consoles, but it never grabbed my attention enough for me to give it a purchase. I had greatly enjoyed the Sniper Elite series, but the thought of mixing that fun gameplay with a zombie horde shooter wasn't one I felt was worth the money. Thanks to the gem that is Xbox Game Pass though, I was finally able to give the series a try, and would you know it, but the devs released the Xbox Series patch the same day it went up on Game Pass. This added in a much appreciated 4K resolution and 60 frames per second mode, along with a damned fuzzy 1080p and 120 frames per second mode that is silky smooth, but it really does come at the cost of some pretty graphics. This was a huge improvement over the 30 frames per second that had been part of the Xbox One generation of consoles, and for the purposes of capturing footage, I stuck with the 4K 60 mode for the majority of my playthrough. The gameplay really does shine when you're playing it at 120Hz on a display with variable refresh rate to smooth out any frame rate drops though. The game is a straightforward one. You have 9 base campaign levels, 6 DLC campaign levels, and 4 base horde mode maps. The DLC is $35 per season pass, though you can choose to purchase each level individually for $6.99 US as well. If the main campaign had not been so long, a full playthrough for me took roughly 12 hours, I would have found the amount of content stuck behind the DLC frustrating. Thankfully though, that campaign and the horde mode both give plenty of enjoyment, and I felt satisfied with my time in the game without having to have touched that DLC. I will say though that the gun variety is disappointing. You only have 3 of each slot, those slots being your rifle, your secondary, and your pistol. These are each doubled though by purchasing the 2 season passes. It is one area I wish the game had a bit more to offer in the base version. Though the upgrade system did eventually have me using the same 3 guns for my entire playthrough anyways, a little more on that in a bit. One thing the game absolutely has going for it is excellent gunplay. While the movement can be a bit stiff at times, the guns always feel great. There is an upgrade tree for each that adds extra damage, better scopes, things like explosive rounds, electrical arcs of energy, and more. By the end of my campaign playthrough, my sniper rifle could tear through 10 enemies in a single shot with its massive explosive shot. And my shotgun could disable an entire group when its electric charge was built up. Most of the time I used my pistol was when I was doing one of the many basic and a bit repetitive objectives that had me carrying an item so that only one handle was free. The missions play out in a similar pattern. You get to an area and must kill everything. Sometimes you need to hit a switch and wait, other times you need to kill enemies near a blood fountain so you can see their souls powered up. What happens when it's powered? The door opens, of course, just like with damn near every other objective you had. The fun is the mindless slaughter, as it's certainly not the story. Rebellion storytelling was never great in the Sniper Elite series, and I'm thankful here that they're not trying to be serious. It's a thoroughly tongue-in-cheek B-movie zombie gorefest, and they play it that way the whole way through. There are 4 playable characters in the base campaign, with a few more added in through the season passes. They aren't classes, essentially, but each has their own strengths and weaknesses and fully voiced lines. Voice acting is cheesy and can occasionally be enjoyable at times. Most of the time, though, all I could hear was the non-stop chorus of the dead. It is extremely loud and very unsettling. As previously mentioned, when the game was released to Game Pass, it released alongside a patch that enabled those 60 and 120 frames per second modes, which are an absolute godsend. My time in Sniper Elite 3 and 4 always felt a bit floaty at its base of 30 frames per second, and I had seen similar things with this game. Thankfully, a frames per second boost mode hit Sniper Elite 4 a month or so back, and it felt fantastic. The same is the case here, and after coming off a title with poor aim acceleration and Outriders, it has been a pleasure to experience. Graphically, the game is solid, with a last-gen engine helped greatly by the power of this new hardware. The resolution and frame rate are aided by a solid red and yellow hell-inspired art style. My monitor does have variable refresh rate enabled, and I cannot remember a single instance of slowdown in either graphical mode. Enemies have clearly defined silhouettes, which greatly aid your decision making in the moment-to-moment of battle. There is an excellent variety of enemy types who each have their own strengths and weaknesses you must consider as you decide who to take out first. To aid you in this are 4 utility slots that can be occupied by a variety of grenades, mines, and even an extremely rare and powerful artillery flare. There are incendiary, electric, bait, which calls the zombies over to it, and divine variants, and that divine one will heal you and your allies. There are also heavy weapon pickups you can find on the field, and the profile-based leveling system offers you eventually 5 perk slots that you can use to customize your style of play. It greatly adds to the replayability of the game, and I found myself having a real reason to go back and play previous levels with my co-op partner, even if I had already completed them. This is also key to the Horde mode, where you can set a few parameters such as difficulty or how many mobs should spawn based on the player count before going into what can be a very long and fun session of absolute chaos. Matchmaking works well through a browser-based system, and in general, so far the community I have found the times I played to be good sports about everything. And it ran well, which is always key. Each weapon slot also has an ability that you can activate with a press of the right bumper once it's charged up. This is done by murdering. For this sniper rifle, this is a slowdown of time when you're solo that also does one huge armor-piercing shot while giving you an exact aim reticle, just like in Sniper Elite. Shotguns get a time slowdown, again only when solo, and a massive increase to fire rate and reload rate. Pistols gain the ability to mark 3 targets to start, though this eventually I believe can go up to 5 or 6. While the voice acting is purposefully cheesy, the zombie screens can be truly ear-splitting. It adds to the sense of dread, though I did occasionally find myself turning the volume down. There is one enemy known as the Suicider that has one of the most genuinely terrifying yells I've ever heard in the game. This is aided greatly since they are covered in dynamite and running at you like an Olympic sprinter. Gun sound effects are uniformly excellent, and the weird arcade-like sound effects are fun. The music is surprisingly good as well. In conclusion, Zombie Army 4 is a game I never gave a chance before Game Pass, and it really is a perfect game for the service. The base campaign is long, and the potential to get you to purchase the Season Pass DLC means it should help the developers earn quite a bit more for all their hard work. The shooting is fun, the campaign is just the right length, the voice acting and story are bad, but on purpose, and it all leads to a fun game that is worth your time, especially if you got a few friends to play alongside you. Zombie Army 4 Dead War is available for the Xbox and PlayStation consoles. It is available on Xbox Game Pass and has a retail price of $49.99 US, though it has gone on sale for a lot less than that quite often. Thank you for watching, and please like, comment, and subscribe. If you do subscribe, please tick that little bell so you get a notification whenever we post something, which is pretty damned often. We will see you here next time on Xbox Era.